Well, it was 1867. A single, middle-aged black man, a former slave, came to Kansas after the Civil War to make a new life. He headed for the far northwest side of Kansas to Homestead, and it was nothing back then to travel 50 miles without seeing another homestead. He found a nice big canyon and homesteaded there, living little more than in the dark ages and the ways of doing things. The canyon had a creek that flowed year round, and a few cottonwood trees that gave much needed fuel for the long winters as they were deadly cold. He had already planted a crop of near 40 acres of corn, and the army troop of cavalry showed up and told the black man that he had homesteaded not in Kansas, but rather 2 miles north of the Nebraska-Kansas border, and he was actually on Indian lands, and the army said that he'd have to get out and gave him 10 days to do so. Well, he had almost 40 acres of corn planted, and he wasn't about to leave, but he told him he would. As soon as the troops left, though, he said they're going to have to drag him off, and he stuck around. But the army never did come back. In fact, that black man stayed there for 5 years before moving some distance back down into Kansas. The story said that the Pawnee did find him, however, but instead of killing him, they traded with him, as he had moonshine to trade, and he also would trade them firearms, which was a big no-no, to give natives guns, but that was one of the ways that he got to stay there, and they allowed him to live there without being bothered. It was also told that he was the first non-native to see the legendary coach whip snakes, which is the only area in the world to be found. The natives said that this snake is twice as long as a horse and just as fast as a horse at short distance. A personal note, I, on my walks in this canyon, have found a few of these snakes. One of the monsters was well over 14 feet long, and they also move like they're powered by rockets. They are fast. No man can outrun one, I guarantee you, for a short distance. The head, well, looks similar to an Asian cobra, but I've never heard anybody ever being bitten by the snake. The snake will charge you at times, and his head can easily raise up off the ground 5 feet. And when he sticks his head within a foot of your face, make sure that there is a brave man standing that won't just scream and run away. So they're real good at bluffing. Well, that is the story that I was told, and the man, the name has been lost, and in fact you'll see very few, if any, ever records of it. And I even asked my folks about that, and they said, well, he was a black man, and the white folks just didn't want to give honor to a black man to being the first non-white to homestead in southwest Nebraska. And so I wouldn't deny that accusation, if you will, for the time and the people that lived back then. He was a hard-working man. He must have been a very brave man to have lived in this giant canyon all by himself, with snakes near 20 feet long and natives that might have killed him, and the U.S. Army that was doing their very best to drive him out. And so that is one of the stories that I have, though. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you subscribe to my future films. This is McCook's Mr. Bill. Thank you.